Hi, my name is Kwon, and I'm going to talk about our work titled Natural Language Dataset Generation Framework for Visualizations Powered by Large Language Models. This work is a collaborative effort between KAIST, Seoul National University, and Boston College. There have been many efforts to integrate natural language interfaces into data visualization research, a trend that has accelerated with the advancement of large language models. Numerous papers consistently mention the lack of dataset pairs comprising collections of charts and corresponding natural language datasets. Another issue is that existing chart collections are synthetic, focusing on relatively simple charts such as basic bar charts, and they lack diversity in types. Additionally, only a handful of them are publicly accessible. Similarly, researchers have attempted to create natural language datasets using crowdsourcing. However, crowdsourcing is costly, time-consuming, and has scalability issues, necessitating the design of multiple studies when collecting NL datasets. Moreover, the quality and diversity of NL datasets depend heavily on the chart collections. Therefore, we present our VegaLite datasets. We collected VegaLite specs on GitHub by initially crawling 67,789 URLs containing VegaLite specs. After removing duplicate URLs and those lacking licenses suitable for research purposes, we obtained 1,981 VegaLite specs. While evaluating these collected VegaLite specs, we faced challenges in finding appropriate computational metrics to assess their diversity and complexity. Consequently, we proposed a method to calculate these metrics by focusing on their JSON structure. For detailed logic and calculation methods, please refer to our paper. So we have collected charts, and here are some of the simple and medium complexity charts. These are some of the extra complex charts, which contain multiple views and interactions like dragging, zooming, panning, tooltips, and so on. Among 1,981 specs, about 86% are in complex and extra complex charts. Using computational metrics, we evaluated that our chart collection is highly complex and diverse compared to previous VegaLite collections. Despite having a lower number of specs than synthetic chart collections, we believe that the quality of our chart collection is superior. Next, using this VegaLite dataset, we propose an NL dataset generation framework. NL dataset types vary, and in this work, we focus on captions, utterances, and questions. Since there are different levels of captions, we only consider level 1 and level 2 captions in our work. Here is an overview of our framework. It takes VegaLite as input, pre-processes it to extract data, and minify the spec for LLMs. Next, using guided discovery, we generate various types of NL datasets. If needed, we paraphrase the generated NL datasets using our score-based paraphrase technique. Firstly, we process the VegaLite specs as explained earlier. Then, we generate NL datasets using guided discovery with two techniques named scaffolding and key question. For L1 caption and utterance, we use scaffolding, and for L2 caption, utterance, and question, we use key questions. To be more specific, in the case of scaffolding, we provide guidance with example structures to follow when generating text using LLMs. For L1 caption, we provide chart semantics like data, transform, mark, chart type, and so on. In the case of key questions, we ask core questions that can guide LLM behavior in a certain way, focusing on the most important aspects when generating specific NL datasets correctly. For example, in the case of a question, we ask a high-level decision that can be elicited from analyzing the chart. This is an example result of an L1 caption generated by our framework. It effectively captures that the chart has two views and explains each in detail. This is another example to generate L2 caption. It accurately captures the number of voters and calculates the relevant numbers. To increase the syntactic diversity of the generated NL datasets, we suggest a score-based paraphrasing technique. By defining language axes in benchmark datasets, we change the generated NL datasets language axis by assigning these axes and their scores. For example, if there is an original statement saying, create a bar chart showing the sum of profit from different regions, we change it by assigning values for language axis. If we assign formality to 1 and expertise to 1, then the sentence is informal and uses layman's terms. On the other hand, if we assign formality 5 and expertise 5, it uses formal language with a lot of jargon. Next, we introduce the experiments we performed. For the L1 and L2 captions, we measure accuracy for 48 sample charts. For utterances and questions, we check the syntactic diversity compared to 48 sample charts and benchmark datasets. For the L1 and L2 captions, our framework captured the chart semantics around 97% accuracy and generated L1 captions with 96% accuracy and L2 captions with 87% accuracy using lenient criteria. In the case of diversity, both utterances and questions generated by our framework had higher diversity, on average, than the benchmark and 48 sample charts. Lastly, we introduce how to use our generated NL datasets and our framework. We have used our generated NL datasets to fine-tune LLMs to check the classification accuracy and classifying types of charts like bar, line, and so on. When used with a benchmark dataset, we observed increased accuracy. Also, we present how our framework can be integrated into a mixed initiative environment so that researchers can use it to generate more diverse NL datasets. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. You may check the dataset and code with the QR code.